everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to get right into the December love reading for the sign of Gemini. Alright, so this is the last love reading that is due up for December. And we're coming into a period of the new moon, right? The new moon is tomorrow. And I'm going to be doing new moon readings probably starting tonight and uploading, premiering them. And this new moon is going to be quite interesting because it will be in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is it'll be conjunct the sun. So we've got the new moon conjunct the sun with a good aspect in Sagittarius. So for a lot of you, if you're planning things right, there's an opportunity for sort of good luck with regard to love and career and finance, right? So let's just see how your last sort of month of the year is going to look like in the love area. All right, Capricorn, and just take what applies to you, and what doesn't apply, let it fly, just disregard it. We're going to pull out a traditional Celtic cross spread, and then we'll get some clarifiers with the Thoth deck, all right? So let's get right into it. Straight out, you have a King of Cups. Nice. Oh, and a Knight of Wands. Nine of Swords. Underneath, in your unconscious, you have another Knight of Pentacles. Chariot energy comes in with the Ace of Cups. 10 of Wands and a Hermit. You have a Knight of Swords and a Nine of Wands. Wow. All right, bottom of the deck, you have an 8 of Cups. So, wow, this is going to be a big change, right, Gemini? Let's get right into it. Give me a minute with this one. This is going to be quite interesting. All right, for some of you, I'm going to say you're coming into this month, right? First of all, let me cover this 8 of Cups. 8 of Cups means that you have made a decision to move away from a particular situation that was quite toxic for you. 8 is the number for boundaries and restrictions, and it is also the number for strength, right? Finding our strengths. And this is the strength to put boundaries in place and to move away from people who are not good for us, right? And to try to move towards relationships that resonate higher. And so I think you're coming into this month on the back of this decision, because I feel that this is for a Gemini who is most recently broken up, right? However, or come out of a relationship and it was very painful, okay? You come into the month with an energy of King of Cups, Gemini, and you still desire to be in a relationship, right? You still very much, I believe, desire to be in a relationship. And we're going to get deeper into the cards. I'm not yet sure if it's with this previous connection that you just sort of left, or if it's just the fact that you desire to be in a relationship with someone. And in comes a Knight of Wands. So somebody is coming into you this month who is kind of like really on your level in terms of creativity. They're really kind of a big go-getter. Knights are, of course, associated with air. And here you have the air aspect of fire. So this person is very sort of... they're very fiery and ambitious. They're always talking about what they want to do, right? And where they want to go, right? They're very adventurous, right? And they come in and they oftentimes can play quite the cheerleader too. They're very motivational. The Knight of Wands is extremely motivational and sort of positive. He can come in sometimes and kind of really sort of be your little cheerleader. You know what I mean? He can be your sort of... give you a boost, right? And this can come in as an energy to you, right? Or it can also come in as an individual. I feel right now that it is an individual. Now, let's get into the top, which is your conscious, and the bottom card, which is your unconscious position. In your conscious position, you're kind of dealing with a 9 of Swords. So this is talking about being alone at night with sleepless nights, having some regret and some pain for the way things happened. This is the card where we sort of like torture ourselves, right? We go over and over the situation and try to figure out, where we could have done something different, or we wish something could have been different. This is a card of a lot of self-imposed anxiety and worry. And like with all of the 9 cards, there is the Hermit energy really strong, right? Resonating. And so there's this, this person or the individual is resonating with this sort of energy is always alone, right? They're on a singular or solitary part of their path, or they're dealing with a certain stage in their life in a very solitary way without the help of anyone else. And so here we find this as well. This feels like a very lonely time, and you're just kind of suffering under it, right? This can often come out of a time when you've left the situation and you're still feeling a lot of sort of pain, leftover pain. Now, the Knight of Pentacles is in your unconscious position, and I think that you do feel, for you, Gemini, you feel better when you're working on your projects, right? You come out of this sort of mood. You're an air sign, and so this is a sort of your air, your mental, kind of being out of balance in a way, because you're generally an upbeat person, Gemini, and of course, you're the sign of the twins, and so you can have a lot of you have 2 sides to yourself, and there is kind of a contradiction and a battle, and there's also a wholeness there, right? But I think for you, for this particular Gemini, you really get over sort of mental anguish and heartaches, right, when you're working, right? When you're working towards a career objective or an abundance objective. And this makes a lot of sense, especially with the new moon coming in, because it's dealing with issues of love, career, and finance, right, and money. So, and I think you desire to, you kind of make a concerted effort. The thing with the Knight of Pentacles is that he may be very slow, but he's extremely methodical, and he will achieve his goal. And so this is a testament to sort of how hard you work, Gemini. You will continue to work until you achieve your objective. Now, you come into this month with this really nice, healthy energy of the Chariot, and you round off with this beautiful Ace of Pentacles. And I think as a result of you taking that energy that you've been using up here, where you've really just been torturing yourself, right? By transmuting that energy and really working on your path for your future in regard to your career and finance, you're taking perfect opportunity of the energies that are coming into December, right? Because right now in December, there is going to be a lot of upheaval. I've been talking about blessings coming in, but this doesn't mean it's going to be an easy time. There is a Mars and Uranus aspect that is going to sort of really cause a lot of chaos. There's going to be people who are very easily agitated. So there's going to be a lot of emotional ups and downs. There's going to be later on in December also a lot of issues with relationships, whether or not they can stand the test of time. So there will be some difficulties, but it's a period where there is opportunity. And just as this Ace of Pentacles comes in like like this golden opportunity, this is also coming in December for a lot of us, that if we pay attention and we're strategic and we lay the groundwork properly and we are taking care of the things that we're saying and not getting caught up in this sort of frantic, chaotic, negative energy that will certainly be around, because we're also having an eclipse in December, right? So the full moon in, I believe it's the new moon in December, is going to be an eclipse. So, so there's that as well. So there's a lot of intense energies, but if you take care and you plan properly, you can make the most of them. And sort of these golden opportunities are also coming in. These once-in-a-lifetime opportunities sort of for fame and fortune and great love is definitely there because of that chaotic aspect of Uranus, right? I mean, Uranus is like one of those planets that, it causes a lot of sort of chaos and change and last minute change and unexpected changes, but it can be for good and it can be for sort of the negative side as well. Difficulties that come in unexpectedly. And it's very much how you take advantage of that energy. And so with this Chariot, you're planning. A lot of you are going to be planning your stage, your business, your career. You're really being very methodical. This is a great energy to come in with this Knight of Pentacles as well, Because along with the Knight of Pentacles, where you're firmly sort of marching towards your goal, you're also you're tying that in. That, by the way, 7 is the card for ultimate dreams and aspirations. So this is also you following the path of your life, right? What you want to do with your life. This is not just sort of punching the clock. You know, this is something that you are really feeling passionate about, a career move, a business move, right? But what this entire sort of desire to sort of plod along to this goal, basically, right? I didn't want to say plod because it sounds like, but sort of methodically move towards this goal. This goal is very much tied up with something that is very important to you and close to your heart. So this month you're coming into this December period, really planning it out. And I'm going to say for some of you, part of this plan is going to include the love aspect. Because although the Knight of Pentacles is what you're using in sort of like, in your subconscious, you're using this energy to get you up and out of this depressive state. But it's not as if you give up on wanting a connection, because you still come firmly in with the King of Cups. These are just the energies surrounding you, but the King of Cups is the strongest card in the reading, because this is who you represent this month. And so with the King of Cups, we do have you, Gemini, with your ultimate goal firmly fixed towards a connection with someone. And so although you're going about it through your business right now, just in terms of laying the foundation, the groundwork, getting yourself up and out of this negative thinking, it's really a perfect strategy, because it helps you deal with this sort of rebalancing of negative energy and sadness and a bit of grief, right? Because we always grieve when we leave relationships, right? And this could be, I believe this is about the leaving of this relationship most recently, or in the time previous to this, perhaps in the last few months or a year. Because this is a monthly reading, so the cause of this could have gone all the way back to sort of earlier this year. But it's a perfect strategy, because you're also taking perfect advantage of the natural sort of opportunities that are coming into you this month. So it's like a perfect time for you to double down on your career ambitions, right? Because all of that is going to give you the right self-confidence to go ahead and get back up and get out there and move towards a love interest, right? Now you come into this month with a 10 of Wands, and you are met with a 5 of Cups. And this is also quite interesting, because you come in with an attitude of wanting to release the burden, letting go. 10 of Wands talks about letting go, being ready finally to let go, right? And release, and not hold on to the things that have been holding you back, that have been sort of, impeding your progress, hang-ups, old slights, old attitudes, negative sort of self-image and low self-esteem as a result of sort of some of the kind of trials and tribulations you've been through, the burdens you've been through, just holding on to baggage, right? 10 of Cups talks about a period in your life where you're ready to lay the baggage down. But you're met with this 5 of Cups. And it's interesting, because although you're mourning this relationship, you're ready to lay it down and really let go of it. But the 5 of Cups comes in, and I feel it's like you still kind of battle a little bit of sadness and depression this month, right? Because 5 of Cups is a very internal sort of power struggle. So although you're ready to lay it down, and you say you're ready to lay it down, right? You still kind of are secretly, not so much, I'm going to say, you may come into the month with a lot of regret, right? And that kind of gets sort of transmuted with all of this work you're doing. But you still remain sort of pessimistic about the next possible opportunity for love. It's not so much that you're still wallowing in exactly what happened there or the loss of this relationship, but it's more sort of that you're now just feeling very pessimistic about moving forward, right? And I think that it's quite interesting. You have a Knight of Swords come in. And this Knight of Swords comes in and really sort of, intrigues you with your intellect, right? Really gets your mind going. I think this is going to be someone who also comes in December. I say the Knight of Wands comes in, and I think the Knight of Wands is not so much going to be It's interesting. This Knight of Wands could be a love interest, but they could also just be somebody who really spurs you on in the beginning of the month towards your sort of ambitious goals, right? To do with your career and your finance, your abundance, your material wealth, and all of that, right? That I was referring to earlier with this Chariot. And I feel like this person is like before, they're very much your cheerleader, your motivator. But then this person comes in, and this is the energy that really resonates strongly with you, Gemini, because this is air of air. And it feels like someone comes into you in December, excuse me, unexpectedly, who is very compatible with you, and they have very quick wit, of course, everything associated with Knight of Swords, and they come up with a lot of solutions for you, right? They have a real pep talk for you, in a different way that the Knight of Wands is sort of motivational. The Knight of Swords can be a little bit harsh and give it to you like it is. He's very much about finding solutions, He's going to come in and say, well, let's do this. Let's figure out a way to get over that, He's not so much the person like the Knight of Wands just spurring you on, but he has got a lot to say to you, right? And I think you enjoy it because you're a Gemini. You resonate with that energy. You come out of the month with a Nine of Wands in a sense that you came into the month with a feeling of letting go, but I think this individual who comes into you, because this is your position for hopes and dreams and fears, right? And so what happens, this Knight of Wands who comes into you and really begins to talk to you in a way to get you thinking about things differently, right? Because again, a lot of this sorrow is a mental sorrow. It's a Swords card. So it's like anguish that you're putting yourself through because of the way you're seeing a situation. He's such a breath of fresh air that I think what you come out with at the end of the month is this Nine of Wands, which is a feeling of realizing that perhaps you weren't quite ready to lay down some of these wands, and you go back to really reevaluating some of the baggage you've accumulated, because you realize that you've been holding on to some sadness here, and you've really been putting yourself through a little bit of unnecessary guilt and anguish, and you may have been hasty in moving towards the Ten of Nines. If you skip the process of being at the Nine of Wands, right, and jumped ahead to Ten of Wands just because you wanted to leave and you're like, okay, I'm just going to move on and just lay everything down. But it's like, if you're, you may think you're doing that in your actions, but you have to go through this Nine of Wands period where you actually look at what you've accumulated. It's at this stage that you actually look at the baggage. It's one thing to say, oh, I'm going to lay it down, but do you know what you're laying down? Like, how many times do you actually look at the baggage or the toxicity that you may have accumulated as a result of trauma or being in a bad relationship or an unhappy stage in your life, right? When we come out of that stage, sometimes we say, oh, well, I'm all over it. I'm laying it down. I'm healing. But, a lot of that healing requires you to really look at your own behavior and look at your own self-image, right? How you see yourself and how you conduct yourself as a result of that, to really see what these wands were. Have you become, an example could be, here's an example. Say you're getting out of a relationship and you're saying to yourself, yeah, I'm done. I'm over it. I'm letting go. I'm not talking to them anymore. And you feel that because you've let go of them and you're not talking to them anymore and you're not thinking about them anymore, that you are over it or you are healing and moving on with your life. But as you're moving on, you're realizing all of a sudden that you get very irritable when people talk to you about certain topics, or you feel unwilling to sort of go out and mingle, or you have this thought, like every time you do go out, you have this feeling of, oh shit, everything's just going to go wrong. I don't look good. He's not going to like me, or she's not going to like me. These are all examples of behavior that we adopt as a result of sort of difficult relationships, right? And if you don't look at some of this toxic behavior that you may or may not have accumulated, or this sort of, that's an example of baggage that you may or may not have accumulated through this process. If you don't see that, then the healing process is going to be very difficult, right? Because then you're not truly laying down the baggage. You may be saying you are, but then you aren't. And this is oftentimes where people will say, oh yeah, you know, I've moved on, but they're still talking about events that have been going on for years or that happened years ago, because they haven't really sort of taken that hard step to really look at their own behavior patterns and their own sort of mindset that is still kind of locked in, right? Because they're not looking at it objectively. They're not looking at themselves now and what they've taken on, right? And so this is a process of healing, right? I had these cards switched earlier. I don't know if you noticed, but I had the video got cut off and I had to jump in and I switched them back. But in any case, this person really opens your eyes to this, and I think they get you to realize that you weren't really letting go and that you really needed to do a little bit more shadow work and healing with yourself, and to look at some of your sort of some of the baggage that you've accumulated. Now, I'm not saying those examples were earlier were just examples, right? For you, it may be different, but whatever it is, you know, if there's, you know, if you're coming out of the month with a 9 of Wands, it means that you're realizing something about your life that is still sort of a burden or affecting you in some kind of way in terms of keeping you alienated, because you see he's alienated by these 9 of Wands. So he's, you know, he's kind of lost in the forest there, and he's starting to see that all of these wands and these sort of, and this baggage that we associate with it is very alienating and is very sort of confusing, and it stops him from moving forward. He's already had quite a lot of damage taken. You can see he's bandaged, you know, and so it's really facing up to that, and really looking at that, and looking at also, you know, the toll that it's taken on you. The bandage is also representative of the injuries that you've taken. And so in this way, this is also representative, this is symbolic of facing up to some of the injuries and some of the trauma you sustained, right? And how it's affected you, so you can really truly heal from it. Now we're gonna pull some clarifiers. This is a really positive, I got a box card. This is a really positive sort of reading for someone who is going through a healing process from an old relationship where you really believed that you were sort of over it, but there has been a lot of sort of leftovers, right? Now I am going to be doing a healing series in collaboration with an herbalist I know, where I'm going to be doing readings about healing for each of the signs, what areas in their life they may be dealing with healing issues or trying to heal, or protection issues from negative energy. And then the herbalist is going to be on the video giving advice and showing you what types of herbs you can use and how you can sort of protect yourself and sort of cleanse yourself with sort of with herbalism, right? Which is a very natural and beautiful way to tap into the energies all around us, right? Physical energies that can truly help. All right, so let's get into it, my lovely Gemini, and then we're going to close out your reading. This is a Knight of Cups. Wow, there you go. Knight of Cups. Ah, beautiful. In the Thoth deck, the Knight of Cups is the same as the King of Cups. So you have yourself resonating. Ace of Cups has come out now twice. 8 of Wands has come out, and the Sun. At the bottom of the deck, you have 7 of Wands. So a lot of Wands energy coming out. A lot of desire to sort of, to really sort of, my cat is driving me nuts. Sorry, guys. To really sort of move forward. This Knight of Cups is so beautiful. Coming out twice. I love to do clarifiers. So here we're talking about you really desiring to get over this because you want to move forward and be healthy in a relationship, right? You know what you want from a relationship, and you really want to get over this anxiety and this sort of little bit of regret you have, right? I really truly hope you guys aren't pining, sort of, some of you are going to, this may be for some of you that you really want this connection you've lost back also. That could very well be, but I see here with this 8 of Cups that you put in your boundaries for a reason. So I hope that you're not sort of fixated on a toxic connection here, right? I want to say that you're really more fixated towards moving forward and having a happy connection. I'm going to tell you why later because of the Sun energy. But you know, you have made a concerted effort to be strong, right? So make sure, for some of you Geminis, because you are Geminis, you're in two minds about it. It could be that this King of Cups energy of wanting this strong love connection. At times you will want it with somebody new, and it's sometimes I'm feeling that you're going to be still thinking about this past connection and maybe entertaining the idea that it's with them. Of course, Knight of Pentacles is being clarified with the Ace of Pentacles, so that's come out twice. Again, a lot of you are really going to be taking advantage of a beautiful sort of golden opportunity in business or in finance as a result of this extra work that you're now putting into this area of your life. Eight of Wands comes in, and this can indicate a lot of mixed messages, right? Eight of Wands talks about having to really put another eight in the sense that having to put boundaries in place. You have Eight of Cups here, but here we're talking about boundaries in place because you're having to deal with a lot of information coming in. Some of it is just too much. Sometimes this can indicate like a resonating up of fame, right? The phone is ringing off the hook, or you're getting a lot of messages coming in. Or it can also sometimes mean that you're getting a lot of mixed messages in a particular area where you're trying to sort of find the way you're feeling or find the right feeling, right? If somebody else is giving you mixed messages, this can be very chaotic and confusing, right? And so the important part here is we're talking again about putting boundaries in place, right? And so you have to put a boundary in place and enforce that in the sense that you can't allow everybody to sort of come in and give you their 2 cents, right? Or you can't allow everybody to come in and sort of try to suck your energy, want a piece of what you're doing, or they want to know what you're doing and how you're doing it, or they want to tell you how to do it, right? That kind of energy, right? Or someone who is calling you over and over and over again and you don't want to talk to them, right? This kind of thing, this can really upset you planning your path, right? And so with this, you have to be diligent. Remember I said, you know, these opportunities are going to come in for those of us who are very intentional and strategic this December period, right? And you have a Seven of Wands here, which is valor, which is talking about being very brave, right? And look at this beautiful Wheel of Fortune at the bottom. And I could keep going. Finally, here comes your Two of Cups in, right? So this is what I mean. Ultimately, I do feel that you are wanting a true, nice, balanced love connection. There is opportunity coming in this month, but you have to be brave and you have to be sort of stand your ground. Mars and Leo, right, is this card. Seven of Wands talks about standing your ground for your dreams, for what you truly desire, because this is another 7 card. Again, like the Chariot is the major arcana of the first 7. The second 7, by the way, is star energy. And so here we just continue our manifesting of our dreams. But with Seven of Wands, we talk about being very ambitious with our sort of our desire to achieve something, but also being ready to sort of face obstacles even if we're afraid, or coming up with creative solutions to obstacles even when we feel like we're all alone doing that. Oftentimes, Seven of Wands, in the traditional deck, it's the card where the guy is sort of by himself fighting off all of these other wands. So it can feel very much like a David and Goliath situation. But nevertheless, the Gemini, you have that energy. Now, you round out the month, look at this beautiful success in all areas. And this is what I mean by a happy love connection, because the Sun also talks about a nice love connection that is full of confidence, that is, you know, safe and happy and flourishing. There are reaffirmations coming in that this is the right kind of connection, right? You make each other sort of warm and feel good and resonate up, right? Sun can also indicate blessings coming in, right? Blessings in the form of, again, fame, fortune, and love, and finding someone. You're very much at the center of sort of life favoring you when the sun comes in. When the sun shines its light on you, it's like the universe is just giving you all of its sort of favor, right? It's allowing you to be sort of at the best that you can be right now. This is a beautiful reading, Gemini. I'm going to call it. I hope it did resonate with you. Some of you are certainly You know, stay strong, okay? Stay strong. Remember, it's all about this Knight of Swords. And this Knight of Swords is going to be a new person. This is not going to be the same person that you were thinking about here. I strongly believe that. And so fix your eyes. And for those of you who are resonating with this Knight of Cups, same as King of Cups, right? In the Thoth deck, in this traditional deck, keep your eyes fixed to the future, right? The king is going this way, and you don't want to look back, right? Because someone is coming in. This Knight of Swords can also turn into a love connection because you are so compatible with them, and because they help you through this really beautiful period of life here and this difficult period of life there, that they may indeed end up being your partner on this path. All right, guys, if you enjoyed it, like I said, please like, subscribe, and share. If you want to get a private reading, you can follow that link at the top of your screen, and then we will conduct a live private stream for you to do your reading and chat on either FaceTime or Skype. And go ahead into the description to see the links for your other readings. But for right now, Gemini, the next videos up will be the new moon readings. And of course, new moon is a period of beginning projects, relationships, and new endeavors. And it promises to be a very exciting time, again, to take new opportunities coming in. All right, guys, I love you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful December. Bye-bye now.